welcome back. Here we are in a heated conversation. We initially started out talking about just the dynamic of being outside of the household and wanting to enforce rules as a parent. Typically a father, usually it's the father, right? But wanting to enforce rules because you're paying in or you're paying child support or what have you. But we just had a very compelling story about a woman who is the exact reverse. She has a child's father who's taking care of the child. So we have some more questions for her. I believe, Ash, you have a good question.
Well, it was a statement more so. It was on the lines of, you had stated that, you know, the children came down over the summertime. They had a good time. It was, you know, everything. You were in a good place. The kids were in a good place. Everybody was happy. You know, your family was happy. I think what might have happened when the kids went back home is their excitement bothered them.
I believe that.
It bothered and rocked that household.
It should.
And once they did that, that was how they needed to detach.
It should. I'm their mother.
Yank the children away, and you know, and that's where, you know, the insecurities of it all came in, and that's why they're giving you such a hard time and not letting you see your children or talk to them, because they know the moment that your children get back in your possession or your arms, it's going to be love all over again, and they're going to go back with attitudes like, well, why can't I be with my mama? Why can't I have this? Or why can't?
Most definitely.
And especially if you were to get them now at 12 and 13, they might not even want to go back. Matter of fact, you might want to go ahead and spark that up, because then that's another court case where the kids now, you know, when they get to a certain age and they feel a type of way, the court will hear what they have to say.
They will. And that's another thing, like the whole court process was shady to me. Like, it was so shady. Like, I felt like if nobody lived in Louisiana, Joseph, he lives in Texas, I'm here in Georgia, we both moved from Louisiana, we only returned to Louisiana to go to court. That was it. And I guess that's only because that's where our marriage license is. That's where, you know, his family. But I don't have any family where we went to court at. That's all his family, you know, his people, whatever. So it's like we started out, like the judge that we had was all of a sudden gone. Like, he wasn't there. The judge that I was used to that handled, you know, all of our cases before, he was gone. We had some traffic court judge that told us that we had to leave and go home, and he would call us with the decision. Like, so we're basically like sitting ducks. Like, we're just sitting around waiting on a phone call. Like, the whole process to me
was shady.
So shady.
I don't
Another reason why that I'm not for the legal system when it comes to family. I'm not for that child support stuff. I understand what you're saying and your situation. Totally. Babe, she just need help. You know what I'm saying? She just
healing.
You know what I'm saying? She needs some healing. You know, some growth. You know, she needs to go somewhere with sisters and hold hands. You know, just she need to be around like-minded people. Not like her, but, you know, higher up like-minded people. You know, because that's the only way.
You're supposed to be around people to motivate you.
Right. That's the only way you're gonna grow. That's me. I wasn't born like this. You know what I'm saying? I had to be molded and cultivated, you know.
Right.
My mama, shout out to her for raising me, you know, good old Southern Belle.
Yes.
I was a late bloomer. I always claimed to be a late bloomer. I got married early, though. I got married at 18. I had my first son at 19, my daughter right after. You know, I love my babies to death, but it was like the process. I felt like because I came from a small town and because that was all I knew, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to get married. It's going to be perfect. We're going to have these 2 kids. We're going to have a house in the country. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it kind of went left. Like, it just went left a little bit. Like, I wasn't prepared at 18 for marriage.
And how old was he?
None of us.
Oh, he was 4 years older than me. Like,
yeah.
In my eyes,
I had to ask.
And he was my first everything. He was 4 years older than me. He bought me my first car, bought me a DVD player, took me on my first dates. He used to bring me stuff to school. He used to pick me up in his Durango, baby. They was like, girl, you got it. I was like, oh, I know I do. Ooh, you know? Just, right. It was like a love story. So I was like, oh, yes, like, we're going to be together forever. Baby, little did I know, 18-year-old me was not prepared for married him. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't prepared for that everyday. I'm 18. Like, I'm thinking something else finna happen after this. Like, I'm finna go to school. That happened for a little while. Then I got pregnant. So I was doing nursing, and their nursing program, the school that I went to, it was downstairs. I fell downstairs one time. He was like, oh, you're not going back. Like, you're not going back. Yeah. So, you know, it was a lot of pressure at 18.
Right.
that I tried to convince everybody in my family that I was ready for it, knowing damn well I was not.
Right.
Well, you
And
know, when
I-
you're 18, you think you grown. You think you
Of
got
course.
it. We all did.
And
we all
the
thought
first
we had
chance
it.
to leave home,
Yes.
So
bye. I'm out of here.
so getting started that early. I got started pretty early myself. I got started first wife, I think 2021, right? Had my child at 19. So my first child at 19. So I get starting early. But do you think that has a lot to do with, especially when you're young and you lose that first love or that person who was supposed to be forever?
I definitely feel like that.
When you lose that person, do you think that therein is where a lot of the problem comes in when we start talking about control and wanting to control that situation for as long as you can control that situation? What you think, Don?
Well, listen to her story. Like, he obviously started off controlling. Just from what you said, he was bringing you stuff to school. He was picking you up. He told you about nursing in school and everything because you fell down the stairs. Like, he obviously started off being controlling like he was your daddy. You were young. And let's be honest, a lot of men do mess with younger women, and I feel like they do that because they're easier to control. They do that for that specific reason. Plus, you know, women mature quicker than men do in general anyway. But the younger they are, the easier it is to keep tabs on what they're doing, especially if it's someone that's either buying you things or taking care of things for you.
Always.
Okay. What you think, Ash?
I do believe that anybody that's 4 years older than you and they know your age, he had an agenda.
Exactly.
You know, he'd seen a young tender, you know, Southern belle, you fine, and he's like, hey, why not? You know what I mean? I could pull up to the school, I can impress all the little girls.
Exactly.
You know, it was an ego boost for him.
Exactly.
It was something that, you know, a little pop a collar, you know what I mean? Something notch on his to-do list. And, you know, with you being only 18, you were innocent, gullible. You know, you fed into all the little nuances. He didn't have
Oh,
to
but we
really-
started talking when I was 16.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
see?
we already figured
So
that.
more,
You got
right.
married at 18.
Right.
I was like, you had already
I
been
was
around.
gonna say, so yeah,
That's
we
why I
talking.
said they talk to
He was
younger
pillow talking for a
women.
while. I was in
Yeah.
love by the time we was able to go somewhere. I was like,
Yes.
Yes, so he knew what he was doing. He had it all set up. He had a
He
master
did.
plan.
right.
And
I've been there. I
the
used to
sad
always talk
part
to
is-
older guys. And so, but I was never easy to control. So we're not going to talk about me, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but see, the sad part is it was about a different way of control because it wasn't like he did it out. He wined and dined in her because when you're 16, you don't need much. I mean, a movie date.
Well, no,
or
because she
out to
wasn't going
eat,
to argue with
or,
none of that
you
stuff.
know.
He did it in a more manipulative,
Right.
psychological way
Right.
versus the
And
normal,
that's
what we used to tell him. You can't do this, you can't do that. He did it in a different way to manipulate her mentally because when we're young, we don't know everything yet. We're just figuring out. All we know is this man is treating us good, and this is what everybody set up, that little fairy tale romance. If you think you can get it while you're young, go for it. Because in our age group, all of us was raised to be
know.
married. We were all raised to be wives. These younger girls, not so much, but in our age groups, that's what we were raised to be. We were supposed to get married and have babies and take care of our man.
Right, and if he came, he was doing all the right things. Why would she
Exactly.
second guess anything about it? Because she was,
Exactly.
again, too young to realize this is a manipulative approach to how he's doing
Especially
things.
with the age thing, you got to sit there and think about. So, if he's for real, he met you when he was 16. I mean, that man was 20 when you met him. 20 years old. What he gonna
What's
do
he
with a
gonna do with a
16-year-old?
Y'all better
Now, when
stop
you're
it.
16, you ain't think about it. You just think, "Ooh, I got me a 20-year-old." Okay, you think you the shit, right?
Your little
That's what you
friends is
think.
hyping
Your
you
friends is
up.
like they are. But for him, as a 20-year-old man, what are you gonna do with a 16-year-old girl? No offense, of course, but we was all girls. We were girls. No matter how they thought about it, and that we were girls. It's a manipulative situation to control some things. That's it.
Interesting. Hey, before we go to break, man, you guys, I have a breakthrough and revelation.
Please share.
Just real quick, my first wife was older than me, so basically, you guys say I was jaded. That particular situation probably should have never happened. And I looked
should
directly
not
into
have
the
never
camera and tell my first wife, "Listen, you know exactly what you did. You knew you were robbing the cradle, and you knew I was not ready for that type of relationship."
Right.
And let's go to break.
We
We'll
were
be
not
right
emotionally
back.
ready.
You know
Family, welcome back. So during the break, while the ladies were conversating, I had an opportunity to go to Miss Ma'am's Dream Queen's IG, right?
Oh, you stalking me?
I truly, believe it or not, I am. I am stalking her. I
Never
am stalking
admit it,
her.
Mike.
I am stalking her.
You gotta say
Because-
research purposes.
because-
Don't admit to
because-
stalking.
Well,
It
it
was
is for
research.
it is for research, Shantae. It is for research purposes only.
Why
But
you
no, I mean,
right?
Square Biz. I mean, if y'all get a chance, go to our IG. It's dope.
Yeah.
Been there. I follow it. So
Yeah, I
already
definitely
know.
follow. I said I'm following. I need to do better liking your pictures because
you do.
I do like your pictures.
Thank you.
Dope. So definitely go check her out. Definitely check if you haven't checked Ash out. Go check Ash
Definitely.
out. If you haven't checked Don out, go check Don out. Man, I'm hanging with some bosses, so you get a chance. Go check these ladies out on IG. So it's just pretty dope. But let's hop into. So originally we were talking about control with funds, right? Essentially, whenever we're dealing with children in the household and a spouse, now a spouse, not just a man, but a spouse or an ex-spouse outside the household, right? Now, you ladies, you went into this whole spiel, and I dig it. You went into this spiel about making sure that you know the woman that you were with. Know the woman that you chose to have children with. Know that woman, because if I'm that woman, you don't have to worry about where the money is going when it comes in the household. Let me ask you a question. I know this never happened to any of you ladies, but I want y'all to tell me about a friend who, for the most part, she was your friend, right? And I'm a believer, for the most part, you are who you hang around. So if she was your friend,
Not Alice.
yeah, well, that's
I
what,
got
that's,
some
but
wild
that's what that's what we made. That's what we made it into.
I got some. I be out here
I
my
just be
drinks
like-
Yes.
I've had this
Girl.
experience. I'm out here my drink in the corner like, ooh,
And that's what we're
I
getting
gotta
to,
go
right?
home.
So my question is this. I'm sure you ladies have that friend who is, when the child support money comes in, the children may be second. The light bill may not be first. The gas bill may not be first. I got to go to the club. I got to buy me drinks, right? Now, or the new man's in the house and he's doing something to my body that nobody has ever done to my body before. And he needs, he deserves, he should have. And when that child support check comes in, I'm going to make sure that this man has. And I want you ladies to speak on it because I know it happens. I just want to see if you'll be honest.
Well, I just want to say, I'm so glad in the beginning you said that none of us have experienced this.
Right.
Because I feel like we have not.
Okay.
especially
First
now
off-
with that man part bringing him in. He come first. He ain't never coming first.
First off, we're going to put it like this: any real woman is going to take that child support. Matter of fact, any real woman on a regular day basis is making sure her household is taken care of, no matter what it is.
Period.
If it's
Facts.
coming from your child support, or if it's coming from the job she got, whatever, it's going to get done. My household's going to be taken care of. My kids are going to be fed. They're going to have clothes on their bodies. Everything's going to be done. So if your child support happens to come in after I paid that, and it's my money because it is going towards everything that I put towards every day, daily, that I have these children. You don't have them daily. I have them daily.
Agreed.
So everything that you bring in, once it's in, just know your kids are taken care of. Right.
I get it though. You can't trust every woman to do it. Like Mike said, not all of them are gonna handle this shit. But if you know the woman that you are with, you should. You should know how they are and if they're gonna take care of them kids first. I struggle with issues with that with my baby daddy. He doesn't want to hand me anything. He thinks I'm gonna run out and spend money on crazy stuff. When before I was the only one working and I paid for everything and took care of him, her, and whatever else we needed to do. So it's like, so you think my morals just switched up all of a sudden, and now I'm not gonna take care of my child first? But I even, I even let it go. I let him just put some money on the bills. Like literally, he could put the money on the bills. He didn't have to hand me nothing. But now we're in a whole other problem because now he don't want to do that because he doesn't think bills constitute as child support. I'm like, but you don't want to hand me anything, so I'll let you, so you know where the money's going, right? That should make it a lot easier. You know what it's going to. You know it ain't going to nothing for me. You know where it's going. But that became a huge problem, too. So now he doesn't want to do anything and thinks, if she needs something, hit me up. Also, I'm supposed to hit you up when we go to the store and she decides she wants some Fruit Loops or some candy. Is that what you're going to do because you don't want to pay for nothing now?
Got to be
Like, it doesn't
careful.
make sense.
I mean, if I gotta go, if you want a scenario of the ignorant bitch that don't know how to take care of kids, I have that story. I had a young lady, and God rest her soul. She's not here anymore. She passed, but she was terrible. I mean, when I say I ain't never met or seen anybody the way in her stature at all. She was sleeping around with whomever. She's was on social media all the time with the skimpiest little clothes, but she was as thick as me. She was just horrible as a person. And, you know, my brother was dating her. The kids would be at home with my mom while she's running around the streets drinking and smoking and tearing up the club. She was just, oh my God.
So she's for the streets.
Oh, she was for the streets. She was for the universe, the world. she was for it
right
all.
now.
She was, she was down for the get down. But I'm just saying, it was literally terrible. Like, she would cuss at her daughter. You know, she'd braid up her hair and stuff whenever they were going out and stuff. But, you know, it was just for show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She put on clothes whenever they were going out somewhere. But she was really a know-nothing bitch. Like, she was horrible.
She was what, Ash? Oh, wow. So listen.
I know nothing. Please.
Listen, but we all know that person, and we know that a lot of men and/or women who are paying into the child support system, we kind of know the people we dealing with. Sometimes when there is smoke, there is fire, right? But I do want to say this. I will look right into the camera and say to whatever man believes, or woman, because in my case it was a woman, believes that the few dollars that you're sending in child support is a big deal. It's really not. Listen, let me talk to you. I used to work with a bunch of guys who we made enough money where typically every month they were sending child support. They were sending like $2,000, $2,500 a month in child support, right? Decent little factory job. And I used to think back then, before I started really raising kids, that, man, y'all getting murdered. You know, how do they expect y'all to live? You can't live off of that. And I agree that maybe if you can't live, you need to work something out. Maybe it shouldn't go through the court system. But I will say this, after raising more than 2 kids, but I'm going to speak about the 2 kids from another woman that I raised with my current wife. When these boys start to grow, they eat like grown men. They grow out of clothes like grown men.
Look,
They
girls
want
can do
like
that
grown
too.
men. Exactly.
Not play.
I raised 4 girls too. So trust me, I know it. Right? So when in the big scheme of things, when we start talking about expense, usually the money that you're sending over is not as big of a deal as what you're thinking, because not only do we have to deal with making sure those bills are paid with the money that you spend, that you're sending over, we got to deal with a lot of psychological BS that goes along with just raising a teenager, which is one of the worst things that you could ever do, is raise a teenager. I believe you're raising one. You have not yet, and you're rolling into it.
Mine's getting in there. It's like,
Yeah.
thanks for that warning, Mike.
But I'm telling you, you get everything back when you raise teenagers. So for anybody that's paying that little money in and you're not there on a day-to-day with a teenage child, by all means, send extra to the parent that has to, just for psychological, just for the psychological that goes along with that. But I said all of that basically to say, and it was in reference to what you had said, Don. Ultimately, like you said, I wish that we could take the courts out of it, so that way, as a village, we could figure out how to raise our children. Because I look at my kids. My kids have two dope moms, right? And one dad, because the other dad wasn't in the picture for the other of my children. But they have 2 dope moms, and that's kind of the way we look at it, right? You know,
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
I want that.
Yes, and that's the way it should be. You know, my sons call my wife mom. They call the other mom mama, and that's how we distinguish the 2. We've even gone on cruises together.
See what I'm saying?
That's
You know,
awesome.
That's how it's supposed to be.
we've
See what
done
I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah,
Co-parenting goals.
yeah,
Right.
Amen.
yeah, we've done that. So
Co-parent. I just want to be a happy family.
I
Yeah.
get it.
That is
But
it.
sometimes when you have one of the parents that still hurt or whatever else, like that just cannot happen.
And
Hurt
also
people
to
hurt
share
people.
my
It's an
perspective.
ongoing
Yeah,
issue.
that's real
Because
talk.
I keep trying to do stuff too, like invite them over for it to be like, oh, it's your birthday. Come over, let our daughter cook something for you or do something
Right.
special. Oh, I'll be over there because he thinks I hate him. I don't hate him. I really don't. I don't like how he did me in situations, but it has nothing to do with our child.
Right.
Like, that's between us personally. It's like, I still have no ill will to it. We can sit here, we can hang out, we can have a good time or whatever, but don't get it misconstrued. I don't want you back.
Right.
That's not it. I just want to
Right.
have a good, happy dynamic with our child.
Right.
But unfortunately, in situations, sometimes it becomes like a competition with you and another parent, to where, oh, well, I'll take you out to go get ice cream if you come get you. And, you know, you get some
Right.
extra little stuff, and it shouldn't be things like that.
My whole perspective with the child support thing, because I don't pay it. I refuse to. If I can't check on my child on a daily, if I can't ask them how their day was, if I can't get a phone call from them, they 12 and 13,
Not to
like,
mention see
if I
them.
can't video call them, if I can't Snapchat them, whatever. Why?
Right.
I send schools, when this first started, when they got with him, I'm sending boxes. Send me the list. I got you. Me and my sister in the store, just get a bunch of it. Just put it in the
Right?
bucket. Come
They'll
on.
need it. It's
Like,
fine.
we taking stuff from work.
See, and that's great.
My old job, not my new job.
Right.
I mean, like Germex, like we just, doing the
Right.
most. Mind you, I have to pay to ship these big boxes of heavy stuff.
That stuff gets
So,
expensive.
no, thank you. Oh, you missed this glue, and we need a pack of socks. Or
Like, come on now.
never get a picture of the children in all the clothes that I buy. Never get my daughter's girly. She's girly when she's with us. I'm sending earrings, hair bows. My mama sending stuff. My mama sends stuff every holiday. They don't even answer her phone calls. But who sends stuff like clockwork is Virginia Dale. She don't care. As long as she got the address and the phone number, she gonna call it and she gonna send it.
Right.
So it's that part of, but you want my money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A conversation shouldn't cost me $500 a month.
No.
A conversation should not cost me $1,000 a month. Now, mind you, when I was living in Louisiana and you chose to go to court and put $100,
Right.
but now that I'm being blessed with more financially, me in my career,
Right.
because that's all I can focus on because my kids aren't here. So why not level up in the
Right.
medical
Exactly.
field? Why not? You know what I'm saying? But now that I have it, you got a whole house. I stay in an apartment.
Exactly.
You got a house. You
But
got a
you know,
business.
You singing the blues that a lot of my brothers sing, though, in the
Yeah.
respect that, and I'm going to give you the same advice that I give them. We live in a pay-to-play society. Here's your
unfortunately.
reality. If you want more time with the kids, if you want to be able to control that narrative, you got to go put yourself on the system, put yourself on child support, and you got to tell them, I want my children this amount of time per year. I want to see them this much, since now I am sending you money
Right.
so that you can take money out of it and send to them.
And it's crazy, the
That's what you have
dynamic.
to do.
The dynamic, because I felt like, okay, we're going to court in Louisiana. So these are questions that I asked before we left court. I said, so I got this custody agreement from Louisiana. Am I going to be able to use this in Texas? Oh, yeah, you're going to be able to use it. Hit me go down to Texas. Okay, first summer, he don't bring them. I said, I'm going down. I'm going to get my kids like that. So me and my nephews pack up in the car. We going down there with all intentions of them coming back with us. I got my custody agreement. I go to the police station. Hey, I'm here with my custody agreement. I need somebody to accompany me. Oh, we don't get in domestic disputes. Or we don't deal with out-of-state custody agreements. I said, that's not what I was told when it was given to me.
Right.
I said, he resides here. It says it here on this paper. They're supposed to be with me on this date, from this date, when they leave out of school, until a week before they start back to school.
Right.
It's midsummer.
This is why the
We
court
can't
system
help
is
you.
messy.
Now, this happened twice.
Messy.
Twice. And I have trust issues. I have a problem giving my hard-earned money to somebody and entrusting them to do something that I gave my hard-earned. Girl, you know how hard it is to save $2,400 making $7.25 an hour?
I
Do
can
you
imagine.
know?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Without my sister or my mother or my aunt, I wouldn't have made it. Like he would just have to take them, and I wouldn't have to put up a fight because I didn't have it.
Right.
Right.
So for me to put that, I mean, I ain't saying like I got it now, you know what I'm saying? But it wouldn't be a problem for me to get it.
Right.
But it's a trust issue for me that I'm giving you this money. Now I'm sharing my story with you. I'm giving you this money in hopes that you will feel me enough, that you will fight hard enough, that I'm plausible with, that I be like, oh yes, bitch, we finna get this. Yes, you know what I'm saying? That I'm pumped up for. That's my thing. That's my stronghold.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And I started the process, and then COVID happened. So there was nobody's up until now still not in Texas. Nobody's doing custody. Nobody's having custody agreements.
Right.
We're not
Yeah.
going to court,
They're leaving
and
them where they
we're gonna
at.
have to go to court because
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
last time we went to court was in Louisiana,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely got to go.
Yeah, the court
and I'm gonna have to
system
go to Texas.
Yeah.
And I
Good
have
luck.
researched the laws in Texas. In my eyes, I could have went and got my kids and brought them back with me, and nothing would have been said.
Yep.
Only because I have this paper. But when I went to y'all's police station, a police officer told me, we don't get into domestic abuse, and we can't help you. We don't handle this because it says Louisiana on it.
Right, which would have left you just having to snatch the kids and go.
Right,
by
and,
yourself.
And
I
then it
don't
would've
want to
been
go.
kidnapped.
Like, I'm not that
Yeah.
person. Like, I don't want to pull up on
But
my
doesn't-
kids
but
and be
doesn't-
like, run out here. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
oh,
Oh, my bad. I'm
Down
sorry.
goes Frazier.
Right. I don't want to be that mom. Like, I don't want my kids to be like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on? Like, I don't want them to be confused. I don't want them to be scared. Like, I don't want them
Right.
to feel like, wait, if I go with her, like, am I going to be able to come back?
Right.
Or, you know what I'm saying? I don't want that situation. I don't want to be that parent.
No, and you should.
I don't want nobody to catch me on YouTube pulling up, you know what I'm saying, and just...
But doesn't that work both ways, though? Just out of curiosity. So, in the particular state you were in at that particular time, he was supposed to comply with the agreement, and he did not. So, if you had the children and you chose not to comply, he couldn't come get the kids because based on the state that where you were at, you could keep the kids as long as you want because
That's
they
true.
didn't get into domestic disputes.
That's true.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure that worked both ways. I realized that you said that you didn't want to play the game that way.
No. But like I said, the first summer they came, everything was great. I had no idea that he was going to
Gonna do
keep
it
them
again.
from me.
No, I
Right.
get that.
Right.
No, I totally get that.
So, I mean, it wasn't like I wasn't like I was going to keep them from him and be like, oh, no, you know, I don't think you're going to give them back, so I'm going to keep them with me. You know what I'm saying? I had every intention of him, like, us growing from that moment to, like, going
No.
on family vacations and,
No, I get it.
you know, being a unit.
Yeah.
Because I was young then. I'm older now. Like, I'm 33. Like,
Right.
at this point, ain't nowhere to go but up. Like, ain't nowhere to... I can't do nothing but improve.
I dig it.
I can't get no
dig
worse.
it. I dig it. I dig it. Man, we've had this has been a charged conversation, which I knew it would be though, because we pulling at emotions. When we're talking about parents, absent parents, we're talking about parents who want to be included, can't be included, and then we're putting money on top of that. So we're putting a price tag on our children. Ultimately, is what we're doing. Unfortunately, like you said, wish we could all get together as a village and figure out how to raise these kids.
Ideally,
Exactly. That would be the way.
the
to
best
do it.
way. Because
Right.
I don't like messing with the court at all with it because it's set up to really screw the other parent
It
for the most part.
is.
It really is.
It's
I don't
like
wanna do it at all.
plays them against each other when you
It
should be a
does.
team.
Exactly.
It does.
It
I
shouldn't
don't
be
it.
like
But then even going back to the part with you too, like you ain't paying nothing for it. So it's like, but then you got to think on the other side of it, like as the person who's not getting any money, you can be an asshole and not let them see him. Because legally, you don't have to let them do it. They're not paying anything. But unfortunately, the person who gets hurt is your children.
Right.
Yeah.
Because now I'm at that point with mine. It's like, okay, so what do I do? And some people are like, oh, I wouldn't let him see him. I wouldn't let him come get her. I wouldn't let her go spend the night. It's like, but that hurts my baby.
Right.
I'm not going to do that to her.
Yeah, that's that price tag.
That
So
sucks.
you don't want to do that. But I have a question for you ladies, and you tell me what you think before we wrap this thing up. I do have a question. So when and my children never watch this long, so it's okay to tell they don't know this part. So what my wife and I did with the money that my ex sent down, we didn't need the money. But what we did is we got both of my sons whole life insurance policies, so that whenever they were ready to buy their first house, whenever they were ready to start their own business, whenever they were ready to do those things, that money would be there for them. Okay? So out of curiosity, so I hear a lot of you ladies, I don't need your money. I'm good, right? Would you be okay with him taking that money and it never sees your household? He invests that money in something like that, in a vehicle that grows, that your child will be able to use later in life, and create generational wealth, and send you the statements every month so that you know that it's being done. That way he
Yes.
never has to send $1 to your house.
Absolutely.
yes, because that is our
Anytime.
fear. That is a fear that a
second.
mother has as her child grows. I got a lot of stuff to pay for. Like they got a lot of stuff they want to do. I got to make sure that I'm financially
They
ready
stay-
and stable so that I can provide for them. Because I don't want them to ever feel like I'm never not going to be there.
Right.
Like I want to be able to give them something
Right.
when they get up and be like, okay, I'm finna go out in the world. I'm finna go to college. I'm finna go do this. I'm like, okay, here you go. This gonna help you.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
Okay, so everybody's talking about, what they've gone through. I'm a mother of 5. I take care of all 5 of my children. I'm taking care of all 5 of my children since the day they were born. And I have 2 babies' dads. So I have 5 children, 2 babies' dads. My first daughter, her father was 3 years older than me. And when he went on child support, it was because we were going through the welfare system. I got $7 a month. That didn't even buy her a Happy Meal, but that's what I got. So then he got incarcerated with a felony. They stopped giving me that. My second, I was married to him. We were together 11 years, married 7. And he decided to become a felon. And now it's going to be incarcerated for whomever knows how many eons of years. So this was me being young and stupid and not really vetting the person that I was laying down with, just happy and humping. And
She said
She said happy
I'm
and
happy and
I'm
humping.
sorry.
You have to be
You
happy.
better be happy and humping.
Happy and humping.
I'm putting that on the shirt. Listen,
Right?
happy
That's
and
a
humping.
caption one
Okay.
day.
Okay,
Happy and
she's
humping.
happy.
I mean,
humping.
clearly I have 5 kids. It just
Ooh.
the process is always the greatest. It's the taking care of them, and now I do it by myself. And the sad part about that is that because I was young and dumb, now I'm stuck in that position, and there's nothing I can do about it. With them being felons, they're not mandated to do child support. They don't really they're incarcerated. They don't even have to work. Like, they don't have to make any kind of funds to help me out. So I will never be that person that's able to get, the fund you just talked about putting up. I'll never, I am the only parent that them little 5 babies know. And I work every day, bust my butt every day to make sure that they're happy and stable. And, I commend those that have to deal with all the things that they got to deal with. And I'm not even going to lie. I think at the end of the day, I would rather be where I'm at than have to deal with the disrespect. Somebody telling me how to do stuff. Somebody telling me what they want or what they don't want in my business, trying to take my kids away from me. I'd rather be in this space. So
Right.
Right, in your own light.
Listen, we got to wrap it up.
We do.
Because what you just said, it will spark a whole nother conversation. with
Sure
me.
will.
So I cannot go there. We got to wrap this up. We definitely got to wrap it up because, like I said, this is just an emotionally charged
It
conversation. And I know I got a bunch of fellas that want to come back and comment on this exact same thing. So there, family definitely be looking for a part 2 to this particular
For sure.
show. But I'd like to thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's been an excellent conversation. And stay tuned. We have a lot of great episodes coming up for you guys for the last quarter of this year. So thank y'all for hanging out with us, and good night.
good night.
Good night.
Yo, how long was that?
That
It
was
was forever.
forever.